Hello guys, today in this video we shall talk about the poem Ode to Autumn written by or composed by John Keats, a romantic poet. First of all, we will talk about the poem, and I must say that we should know about the poem, the introduction of the poem, and that is like this. Ode to Autumn is a lyric on autumn. The poet describes the rich beauty of the season, its color, fruits, and the earth. Unlike other poets of autumn, it does not develop the feeling of melancholy. Autumn is here not pictured as a season of death and decay. According to the poet, autumn is the season of happiness and beauty. Autumn is personified here in the form of a woman in the farm of a farmer, gleaner, and an orchard man. Poetry and sculpture are blended together, and the spirit of autumn is seen by the poet as is seen by a Greek artist with a firm outline and graceful shape. Ode to Autumn is one of the most wonderful poems of Keats. There is fine observation of the world of nature and an exquisite pictorial quality. The first two stanzas are a description of autumn, personifying it in various ways as a winnower, a reaper, and a gleaner. The third compares autumn with the other seasons. So guys, this is the introduction to the poem, and now summary of the poem. Ode to Autumn. Autumn is the season of ripe fruits. It works with the sun. It ripens fruits like grapes, apples, etc. It makes the flowers bloom. The bee thinks that summer still continues. Autumn is personified in the poem of a woman sitting carelessly on a granary floor as a tired reaper. Autumn is presented as a gleaner. Autumn is the form of a reaper, is reaping the harvest. She is intoxicated by the fumes of poppies, and so she has slept there. The gleaner is having a load of corn on her head. She is crossing a stream. Autumn is sitting beside a crushing machine. Autumn has her own songs. They are introduced in a scene of the sunset glory. The sorrowful buzz of gnats, the moving sound of sheep returning from the mountain, the chirping of grasshoppers, and the twittering of the redbreasts and swallows produces the sweet music of the autumn. So guys, this is the summary of the poem, and now let us start the full explanation of this poem. So guys, season of meats and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatched eave run. Guys, these lines are from the poem, and the first four lines of this stanza. The poem gives a vivid description of an English autumn with all the warmth and riches of the season, and it breathes a spirit of happy contentment. In no other poem does the poet's simple and direct love of nature find a better and fuller expression. It is a season when atmosphere is misty and the fruits get ripened. The bright sun has been called its intimate friend, as the heat of the sun is very much required for the ripening of the fruits. The vines which are spreading along the projected portions of the store roofs, get loaded with grapes in the autumn season, and the grapes get ripened and juicy with the heat of the sun. In this way, autumn and sun work in cooperation. Now, the line number 5. To band with apples and most cottage trees, and fill all fruit and with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plumb the hazel sails. The poet says that the autumn is a season of mists which are formed as the water is drawn up from the earth by the strong heat of the sun. It is a time when the fruits ripen to their very core. The bright sun shines clearly in the sky, and all the fruits, apples, grapes, dates, are ripened to the full. There is plentiful crop of fruits and vegetables. The vines are covered with grapes, and the moss covered trees of the cottage gardens bend with the weight of the apples, which have ripened to their core in the friendship of the sun. The season of autumn, in the company of its friend, the sun combines to develop the ground and makes the hazelnut grow sweet kernel within their shells and appear plump. The flowers continue till the late season in the autumn, blossom abundantly. Bees suck up their pollen and go on collecting honey from these flowers into their sticky hives. There is such a rich harvest of flowers in autumn, and so wide is the opportunity for bees to collect honey that they feel that summer season will continue forever. Already their hives are overfilled with honey, and there is no space where they can keep their honey. So rich is the harvest that autumn provides to them. It is the ripeness is plant in plenty which is described. So guys, this is the explanation of the lines from 5 to 11. To band with apples the most cottage trees, and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plumb the hazel shells, with the sweet kernel to set budding more, and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has overbrimmed to their clammy sails. Now, the line number 12, 12 to 22, like, who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store? Sometimes whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or on a half-reaped furrow sound asleep, drowsed with the fume of poppies, while the hook spares the next swath and all its twin flowers. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook, or by a cider press with patient look. Thou watchest the last oozing hours by hours. So, guys, in this stanza, autumn is personified. In the style of the Greeks, 4 pictures of autumn are presented by the poet. Autumn is seen like a farmer sitting on the granary floor, with his hair waving in the winnowing air. The farmer autumn is sitting carefree, without any worry in his mind. Autumn is also seen in the form of a reaper who has been lulled to sleep by the hums of puppies. Near his half-ripped furrow, the reaper is seen holding in his hand the reaping hook and leaving a line of corn only half mown, and the tender flowers encircling them still left unharmed. Autumn is seen further in the form of a reaper with the sheaves of corn on his head, crossing a brook with steady and firm foot balancing the corn on his head. And again, autumn can be seen in the form of a farmer sitting near the cider press and watching the juice of apple coming out of the press for hours and hours without any break. The poet describes the rich beauty of autumn. Usually, this season is pictured as dull and melancholy. It is considered as the season of death and decay, but kids find pleasure and beauty in autumn. The poet here gives a picturesque description of the familiar scenes which may be seen in the countryside during autumn. For this purpose, the poet personifies the season. Autumn is presented here in the person of a harvester who sits carefree beside the store of grains, with hair uplifted by the wind that separates chaff from grains and hands called the winnowing wind. Then the poet presents autumn in the figure of a reaper who, drowsed by the fumes of poppies, falls asleep beside her half-reaped line of the corn. There is another picture of autumn drawn by the poet. She is shown as a gleaner with the load of corn on her head crossing a stream. And yet there is one more picture now. Autumn is shown sitting beside the crushing machine. Now from the line 23 to 33. Where are the songs of spring? Ay, where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too, while bad clouds bloom the soft dying day, and touch the subtle plains with rosy hue, and in a wailful choir, quiet the small ginnets mourn among the river sorrows, borne aloft or sinking as the light wind lives or dies, and full-grown lamb loud bleat from hilly bourne, has crickets sing, and now with the table soft and rare-breast whistles from a garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the sky. The poet describes the rich beauty of autumn, its color, and the earth. The poet gives a picturesque description of the familiar scenes in the countryside during autumn. He presents autumn as a woman, a farmer, gleaner, and an orchard woman. It has its own music and its own beauty. In the concluding stanza of his Ode to Autumn, the poet says that autumn is not devoid of songs. It has its own music. As the spring is full of sweet songs, in the same way there are sweet songs to be heard in autumn too. The songs of autumn are so sweet. The songs of autumn are introduced in scene of sunset glory, the beauty of the sky that escapes many do not escape kids, but the sunset illuminates the earth as well as the sky and touches the subtle plains with hue. In the background of such a beautiful sunset, the rainfall buzz of the swarming gnats varying with the force of the breeze as the insects themselves rise and fall in their air. The familiar bleating of the full grown lambs on the hilly bourne, the chirping songs of grasshoppers, the whistling tremble of the redbreast, and finally the twittering of swallows appear as delightful and sweet as the songs of spring. So, guys, this is the full explanation of this poem, Ode to Autumn. Thank you.